Clothing has always been more than just a means of covering the body. Throughout history, it has served as a symbol of status, power, identity, and expression. In various cultures around the world, worn out or tattered clothes have been linked with poverty, not only as a visual cue, but also as a reflection of a deeper spiritual or psychological state. This video delves into the symbolism of worn-out clothes, explores its cultural significance, and examines the psychological impact it can have on individuals. Furthermore, it will analyze the belief that wearing such attire may attract financial difficulties or a mindset of lack. Throughout history, clothing has acted as a clear indicator of one's social status. In ancient civilizations such as Egypt, Greece, and Rome, the fabric, color, and quality of clothing were used to distinguish the wealthy from the poor. Rich individuals could afford fine materials like silk and velvet, while the impoverished were forced to wear coarser fabrics. Worn-out clothing has thus long been associated with lack and hardship, marking those who could not afford better attire as part of the lower classes. During the Middle Ages and the Renaissance, sumptuary laws were enacted across Europe to regulate the attire of different social classes. These laws prohibited the lower classes from wearing luxurious materials like silk and fur, reserving such items for the aristocracy. A person's clothing was essentially a visual marker of their wealth, and ragged or patched garments were unmistakable signs of poverty. This historical association between clothing and wealth extends beyond Western cultures. In India, for instance, traditional garments like saris or dhotis are often worn to signify not only cultural identity but also economic status. In East Asia, fine silk garments were traditionally reserved for the elite. The poor, on the other hand, wore more modest, rough textiles that easily frayed and wore out with time. The association between worn-out clothing and poverty is thus deeply rooted in human history. This visual connection between attire and financial status has become ingrained in societal consciousness, contributing to the notion that wearing tattered clothes can reflect or even perpetuate poverty. Beyond the social symbolism, many cultures hold spiritual or religious beliefs that connect clothing with energy, luck, and prosperity. In several belief systems, clothes are thought to absorb and carry the energy of the wearer. Therefore, wearing clothes that are old, dirty, or torn can be seen as attracting negative energy, including financial hardship or a lack of abundance. In Hinduism, for example, it is believed that clothing carries the vibrations of the person who wears it. Old or second-hand clothing, particularly if worn by someone who has experienced financial difficulties, might carry that energy, affecting the new wearer in a negative way. This belief extends to worn-out or tattered clothing, which may be seen as symbolic of a person's internal or external struggles. By wearing such clothing, one might unknowingly invite further hardship or bad luck. Similarly, in feng shui, the ancient Chinese practice of harmonizing the energy of one's environment, it is said that everything we wear and surround ourselves with affects our energy flow. Worn-out or damaged clothing is believed to block the flow of positive Kai energy, which can limit opportunities for prosperity and success. Keeping one's attire in good condition is thought to ensure a free flow of abundance and good fortune. In Christianity, the symbolism of clothing is often tied to concepts of morality, humility, and wealth. While there are passages in the Bible that praise humility and warn against excessive attachment to material goods, tattered clothing is still often used as a metaphor for poverty or spiritual destitution. The parable of the rich man and Lazarus, Luke 16:19-31, for example, uses Lazarus' ragged clothing to highlight his poverty and suffering. These religious and cultural associations between clothing and energy reinforce the idea that maintaining one's attire in a respectable condition can help attract positive experiences and financial security. Conversely, wearing worn-out clothing can symbolize a lack of care or self-worth, which may manifest in one's financial life. Psychologically, the way we dress has a profound impact on our mindset, self-esteem, and how we are perceived by others. Studies in the field of psychology have shown that clothing not only affects how we feel about ourselves, but also influences our behavior and thought processes. This phenomenon is often referred to as enclothed cognition, a term used to describe the systematic influence that clothing has on a person's psychological processes. Wearing clean, well-kept clothes can boost confidence and self-worth, making individuals feel more capable and empowered. On the other hand, wearing worn-out or tattered clothes can have the opposite effect, leading to feelings of shame, low self-esteem, and inadequacy. These feelings, in turn, can affect one's ability to make decisions, take risks, or pursue opportunities that could improve their financial situation. For individuals already struggling financially, wearing worn-out clothing may reinforce feelings of poverty, creating a cycle of negativity. When people feel unworthy or inadequate, they may be less likely to seek out opportunities or take proactive steps toward financial improvement. The psychological impact of wearing tattered clothes can also affect how others perceive the individual. In social settings, attire often influences first impressions, and wearing worn-out clothing may lead to judgments of irresponsibility or lack of care, further reinforcing social and financial isolation. In professional settings, appearance can significantly impact job opportunities, promotions, and networking potential. Individuals who wear worn-out clothes may find it harder to succeed in interviews or maintain positive professional relationships, thus perpetuating financial struggles. This psychological and social feedback loop demonstrates the powerful role clothing plays in shaping financial outcomes, especially for those already living in poverty. Given the cultural, spiritual, and psychological impact that clothing has on financial success, breaking the cycle of poverty can sometimes begin with improving one's appearance. This is not to suggest that wealth is solely a product of how one dresses, but rather that maintaining well-kept clothing can positively influence one's mindset, behavior, and social interactions, all of which contribute to financial well-being. In many cultures, rituals of cleansing or renewing clothing are performed to invite prosperity. This may involve repairing torn garments, donating old clothes, or acquiring new ones. The act of cleaning or repairing clothing symbolizes a fresh start and signals an intention to improve one's financial circumstances. Such rituals align with the belief that keeping one's attire in good condition reflects a readiness to welcome abundance and success. Programs aimed at helping individuals escape poverty often include provisions for new or gently used professional attire. For example, organizations like Dress for Success provide individuals in need with professional clothing for job interviews, helping to boost their confidence and improve their chances of gaining employment. These initiatives recognize the psychological impact of clothing on self-esteem and professional success and seek to provide individuals with the tools they need to present themselves in a more positive light. The belief that wearing worn-out or tattered clothes can attract poverty is deeply rooted in cultural, historical, and psychological factors. From a symbolic perspective, such clothing has long been associated with financial hardship, social marginalization, and spiritual lack. In various cultures and spiritual traditions, clothing is seen as an extension of one's energy, with worn-out garments believed to carry negative vibrations that can perpetuate financial difficulties. Psychologically, the impact of clothing on self-esteem and behavior is well documented. Wearing tattered clothes can reinforce feelings of inadequacy and create a feedback loop of negativity, affecting not only how an individual perceives themselves, but also how they are perceived by others. This, in turn, can limit opportunities for financial improvement, particularly in professional settings. However, by paying attention to one's attire and taking steps to maintain well-kept clothing, individuals can potentially shift their mindset and open themselves to new opportunities for prosperity. Whether through spiritual cleansing, social programs, or personal efforts to improve one's appearance, the act of wearing well-kept clothing can serve as a powerful symbol of self-worth and financial readiness. Ultimately, while clothing alone may not determine one's financial destiny, it plays a significant role in shaping the attitudes and behaviors that contribute to financial success or struggle. Thanks for watching video.